All right, let's talk about an emotion that every single one of us experiences, but very few of us have really learned how to master. I'm talking about anger. It's this primal, powerful force that's literally hardwired into us for survival. But how do you take that feeling, that fire, and turn it from something destructive into maybe your greatest ally for change? Let's dive in. You know that feeling, right? That sudden rush of heat up your neck, your heart starts hammering in your chest, your shoulders get all tense. It's that moment where you feel completely taken over by this intense, fiery emotion. It's a total, full body experience. And yeah, in that moment, it can feel like you're totally on your own. But that feeling, it's a universal human experience. Anger is a core part of who we are. So the goal isn't to somehow get rid of it. That's impossible. The real goal is to learn how to listen to it, to figure out what it's trying to tell us. So let's try to reframe this right now. Anger isn't the bad guy. Think of it more like your body's own internal alarm system. It's a protective signal that's going off because maybe a boundary has been crossed, or a need isn't being met, or you're seeing some kind of injustice. The real question isn't why the alarm is ringing, it's what are you going to do now that you hear it? And this brings us to a really crucial idea. The way we chose to handle that alarm bell, that signal, is what determines whether our anger becomes a constructive tool for making things better or just a destructive weapon. It all starts with the goal. What are you trying to accomplish? See, healthy anger is all about finding a solution. It's asking, okay, how do we fix this? Unhealthy anger, on the other hand, is just about venting or gaining control. It's not trying to resolve anything, it's just trying to win. And you can really see the difference in how it's expressed. Healthy anger, it's assertive. It's about being able to communicate what you're feeling and what you need, but doing it directly and respectfully. Unhealthy anger tends to come out as aggression. Yelling, hostility, or even that sneaky passive-aggressive stuff. It's the difference between saying, hey, I feel really hurt by what you said, versus yelling, you're a terrible person. See the difference? So the bottom line is the impact it has on our relationships. It's kind of wild, but when you express anger in a healthy way, it can actually build trust and make connections even stronger. But when it's destructive, it does the exact opposite. It creates fear, it pushes people away, and it just destroys the very foundations of trust. Okay, so if we want to get our anger working for us instead of against us, the very first step is just self-awareness. We've got to figure out what sets that alarm off in the first place. What are your personal anger triggers? What pushes your buttons? This is absolutely the most critical first step. You have to take an honest look at what gets under your skin, because that is the foundation for everything else. It's about learning to see the spark before it turns into a wildfire. Just take a look at some of these common ones. Do any of them sound familiar? I mean, feeling ignored or disrespected, that's a classic one. You're in a meeting, you pitch an idea, and it's just crickets. Then 5 minutes later, someone else says basically the same thing, and suddenly everyone thinks it's genius. Ugh. Identifying your specific triggers is like creating a map of your own emotional world. So, once you have that map, you need a tool to help you navigate it. And honestly, one of the most powerful tools out there is mindfulness. The best way to think of it is like installing a personal pause button between the thing that happens and how you react to it. Because without that pause button, this is what happens. Anger hits, and it just feels like this chaotic storm inside your head. Your thoughts are racing, your judgment gets all cloudy, and you get swept away by this emotional current. And that's usually when we say or do things we end up regretting later. But mindfulness completely changes the game. It doesn't actually stop the storm, but it gives you an anchor in the storm. It creates this quiet, calm space where you can just watch the chaos without getting swept away by it. And in that little space, that's where you get your power back, the power to choose how you respond. So what is it exactly? Well, the idea is pretty simple, even if it takes some practice. It's just paying attention on purpose to what's happening right now. Your thoughts, your feelings, your body, without judging it. You just notice the anger, you acknowledge, oh, there's anger. And in that tiny act of noticing, you create a gap between the feeling and the impulsive reaction. Look, here's a super simple way to practice this. You can do it right now. Just find a comfortable spot, close your eyes if you want, take a nice deep breath in through your nose, feel your chest expand, and now slowly let it all out through your mouth. Just focus on that sensation. Even doing that for a minute can calm your whole nervous system down and create that crucial space to think. This is the ultimate goal right here. Anger can make you feel like a puppet, like your triggers are just pulling your strings and making you react. Mindfulness is the tool that lets you see those strings, and eventually, it lets you cut them. It puts you back in the driver's seat, making you the master of your reactions instead of a slave to them. So we've defined anger, we've looked at its two faces, we've talked about triggers, and we've found a powerful tool to deal with it. So now let's put it all together into a simple, easy-to-remember action plan that you can use anytime, anywhere. Here it is, your 3-step roadmap. It's super simple. First, recognize. Start paying attention to the signs, your jaw clenching, your heart racing. Second, pause. Do not just react. Hit that mindful pause button we just talked about. Take a breath, create some space. And third, respond. This is the key. Instead of reacting on impulse, you get to choose a constructive response. You choose to be the tool, not the weapon. And that brings us to our final thoughts. If you take just one thing away today, let it be this. Your anger is not just random noise. It is a signal, and it is packed with important information about you. So the next time you feel it rising up, instead of fighting it, just get curious. Ask yourself, what is this trying to tell me? The answer to that question, well, it might just change everything.